So good afternoon, everybody. I'm on a little adventure here to visit a distant relative. This is a beautiful day today. Light clouds, nice and sunny. Memorial Day weekend. You can see all the flags in the background. Searching for a distant relative, Joseph B. Connaughton Jr., the only relative I know of to have passed in the during a wartime. He died in a plane crash during World War II. So why don't you come join me, go for a little walk, and we'll see what we can find. So cemetery is pretty big. A lot of flags. We have a rough idea where it is, but I'm sure it's going to take some searching. So come on along, see what we can find. All right, see ya.
Well, it took us a little doing, but we finally found it. This is gravesite of Joseph B. Connaughton Jr. and his mother and father as well. Joe was the only relative I know of to have passed away during wartime. Being Memorial Day weekend, we thought we'd come pay tribute to him. He was a pilot of the B-24 Liberator, flying out of Mindanao or Murata Field in the Philippines. He perished in a crash during takeoff on a mission to go bomb some oil fields that were key to Japan's survival. It was unfortunate he died on June 18th, 1945. Less than 2 months later, the war was over. How devastating for his parents, I'm sure. So I have also an account of what had happened. This was an account by the plane that took off prior to Joe. And this is how he remembers things. On June 18th, missions started promptly at 0500, with the 531st leading the group. The takeoff sequence appeared routine as the first 4 aircraft departed Murata and began to form up in a shallow climbing circle. The 4th plane aloft, Bombardier Donardo, stood at a waist window intently watching the next airplane leave. Everything appeared normal as it gained speed and cleared the runway, but then something terribly went wrong, and it settled back to Earth, dragging its twin rudders across the gravel road. The dual plumes of dust quickly enveloped by a giant fireball when the Bombardier bomber Drunkards Dream hit a telephone pole and exploded. First Lieutenant Joe Connaughton and his 11-man crew died in a flash, instantly consumed by 3,100 gallons of gasoline and 52 100-pound fragmentation bombs. The broken telephone pole, still dangled by their wires, stood as a mute witness to the dreadful scene. Takeoffs did continue with little interruption, for the crash had not obstructed the runway. By the time fire and rescue vehicles reached the crash site, little remained. Shredded metal, the engines, and a broken landing gear were all that were found. The grisly task of searching for the bodies proved difficult, and in the end, they could only bury parts of 8 bodies the next day. 5 days later, a gunner from the 129th Squadron found the nose turret from Drunkards Dream, lying in some tall grass quite a distance from the crash site. It contained the body of the gunner. The complete mess was buried without trying to extract the badly decomposed airman. And like I said, Joe is buried here along with his mother and his father. Joe perished during the war, but his father was also a serviceman. He served in World War I and spent time in France. He had a brother, John. John and Joe both served in France together. And they both made it through their war years. Joe Sr. died in 1974, so he spent quite a while grieving the loss of his son. So at the end of this video here, I'm adding this pictures of the plane. This is 2 versions of the nose art Drunkards Dream. The name Drunkards Dream comes from a popular magazine / comic that the servicemen would read. It was called Mail Call, and the femme fatale of this Mail Call series was somebody named Lacey, who you see pictured here, and she was often referred to in the series as the Drunkard's Dream. I'm also going to include a picture of Joe Connaughton. So this is the only picture of Joe Connaughton that I've been able to come across. This was photographed by Anthony DiNardo, who was the person that gave us the account of the crash. Just to give you a little background on who Joe was to me, I reckon Joe was my second cousin. He was my mother's cousin, my grandmother's nephew. His father was, Joe Sr. was Grandmom's brother. So I'm thinking that would make first cousins for our parents and second cousins for us. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see if we can keep doing some of these. Alright, good night.